Welcome to the Art of the Claim web series. I'm here with Mike Kalen today. He's the owner of Mile High Insurance Agency, and he's going to talk a little bit about insurance policies and give you guys some knowledge going into the storm season. Mike, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Why don't you give us a little bit of information about your background, how you got into the business?
Sure. Well, Constantine, I started in the business in 1992. Shortly out of high school, I decided that this was what I was going to do with my life. Not exactly what I had planned, but here I am now in 2019. It's a family-run business, Mile High Insurance Agency. Work with my brother currently. My dad recently retired about a year ago. During the time, I got my start back in the 90s working in personal lines, homeowners policies, auto insurance policies, and then sort of gravitated up into general liability, contractors, construction, that type of thing. So I'm pretty well versed with both sides of the claim, from the homeowner's policy, the homeowner's perspective, on through to the contractor's perspective, and how the entire claim really looks from A to Z. During that time, I have picked up some additional designations. I'm currently a certified insurance counselor and a certified risk manager.
Very cool. What about Mile High Insurance Agency? What policies do you guys write? What do you guys specialize in?
Yeah, we are a personal lines and a commercial lines agency. We do homeowners insurance, obviously, auto insurance. We also handle general liability insurance for the contractors, the roofers on the construction side, commercial auto, property insurance for commercial buildings. Really all property and casualty insurance policies we can handle.
Where do you guys cover? Where do you guys do most of your business?
The majority of our business is actually here in the Metro Denver area, really between Colorado Springs and Fort Collins. We are actually a multi-state insurance agency, so we're licensed in various states all across the country, but primarily the Rocky Mountain states.
Nice. So a lot of people, insurance is not something that they spend a lot of time learning about until they actually need it. Our goal and my goal with this is to actually educate people on how to avoid the pitfalls of insurance claims and get ahead of it. So let's just start with finding a broker. What do people need to look for in finding a proper agency that's going to take care of them and get them the right policy and not leave them hanging when they need it?
Right. The first thing I'd really recommend to people looking to possibly switch their insurance brokers or to find a new insurance company or to even evaluate if their current insurance broker is doing the best job for them, I would really investigate their website and that agent to see if that agent, what kind of resume do they have, if they've been in the business for quite a long time. Do they have any designations, any letters behind their name? What kind of insurance companies do they represent? Do they have a good reputation on any of the various internet outlets that may be doing reviews? I'd say in this day and age, it's probably more important than ever to find an insurance broker that's got a solid resume. The insurance policies are becoming more and more restrictive, and you really need to have an insurance broker who really knows more, or at least as much as the claims adjuster. Definitely as much as the underwriter who underwrites the policy, but you don't want an insurance broker that only knows slightly more than you. That's not going to do you any good when a claim comes up.
We run into that a lot.
Right.
Homeowners get shortchanged, get a policy that they shouldn't have.
Right.
Then they're left to pick up the pieces after that. So.
Absolutely.
What should a homeowner do to prep for storm season before a storm actually hits, because that's the best way to do it rather than trying to scramble after a storm hits? I mean, what are some things that they should look for in their policy to make sure they're good?
Sure. Well, currently in Colorado, the insurance companies are only obligated to notify a homeowner of a change in coverage about 30 days prior to the renewal. There's no separate letter that goes out, Constantine. It's just part of the renewal policy. And what the insurance companies are required to do is just simply put some sort of cover letter or documentation on the front of the policy that says, we've changed your deductible, or we are now adding a cosmetic exclusion, or pay close attention to the guaranteed replacement cost provision in a policy. And it's really, really important that homeowners actually read their insurance policies. Insurance companies have rewritten insurance policies to make it a lot more user-friendly for homeowners to be able to actually decipher what's being said, so there's not so much legalese in the policy. Most important thing you can do is be familiar with their policy. Don't count on your insurance agent to reach out to tell you about the changes that may be occurring on your renewal policy. Be proactive. Look at your policy, review your policy. If you don't understand any part of it, call your agent.
What are the top 3 things to ask your agent the most important things that you see people get blindsided by after a storm hits that they didn't realize their policy excluded or?
Right. The biggest change that we are seeing is the deductible position change that the insurance companies are taking on, whether it's an increased deductible, a higher deductible for wind and hail claims, $2,500, $5,000, or even a 1% wind and hail deductible. Now, a lot of homeowners think that 1% means 1% of the total claim. It does not mean 1% of the total claim, it's 1% of the building value. The house is insured for $500,000, you have a $5,000 deductible for 1%. That's the first pitfall. Second thing I'm starting to see is an actual cash value endorsement that's being added to homeowners policies, where the insurance company will actually change the way they value a claim or adjust a claim if the roof is over 15 years old. And all that really means is that a homeowner's policy is written on a replacement cost basis. Replacement cost, as you know, is simply the replacement cost of the roof less the depreciation of that roof is the actual cash value. That's all you're going to get. You're going to get a check for an actual cash value roof. Now, let's just assume it's a 30-year roof, and the insurance company is going to go on a 30-year depreciation scale. Your roof is 15 years old. If you have an actual cash value endorsement on your roof or on your insurance policy, you're going to get roughly a claim check for half of the cost to replace that roof. So if it's a $20,000 redo, you're going to get 10 grand.
And that a lot of homeowners don't understand how all that works, but the depreciation is essentially just a holdback until the work gets done if they have a replacement cost policy. If they don't, if they just have ACV, then they don't get that depreciation back whether or not they complete the work.
Correct. Most homeowners insurance policies actually include replacement cost coverage, Constantine, because a lot of times mortgage companies actually require it.
How many agents are letting their insureds know that, letting their customers know that? I assume not very many.
Hopefully all of them.
So a storm hits your neighborhood. How do you know if you have damage?
Right. The first thing that I'd always recommend that any homeowner do, you're going to notice a lot of downed trees or tree limbs, leaves that have been stripped off the trees. If you see a lot of significant damage to your plants, it's very, very likely that there's been an event in your community. From there, I would go and recommend everybody inspect a lot of the metal around their homes, whether it be the gutters, their air conditioning unit usually is soft enough metal. If it's significant hail, you're going to see a very pitted or AC unit. Those type of indications, Constantine, it's a pretty good idea that there's been a significant storm that's gone through the area.
So why should a homeowner call in a claim? Some homeowners think, you know what, it's not that bad, I'll just hold off. But what are the disadvantages of not calling in a claim?
It's really a tough situation to be in because the homeowner's insurance policy actually requires that you notify your insurance company in the event that there's been a loss. If you know that there's been a loss, the policy conditions require you, the homeowner, to tell your insurance company. The problem with that is you turn in a claim, everybody knows that it is one way or another probably going to affect your rates. Failure to turn in that claim, though, will actually void your coverage should you have an event or something happen down the road. So you're really darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. You turn it in, your rates are probably going to go up. You don't turn it in, you just voided your coverage.
And your rates will probably still go up.
And your rates will probably still go up anyway because your neighbor turned in the claim.
So you should probably just call in the claim.
You should absolutely just turn in the claim. Absolutely.
So as a contractor, we get asked a lot, if I file this insurance claim, are my rates going to go up? It's just mine personally.
Right. Right. The reality of the Colorado marketplace is that our rates are unfortunately going to continue to go up. We're going to probably have to see a pattern of a couple years of no significant hail for our homeowner rates just to level out and then eventually start to drop back down again. Right now, with the hail being as brutal as it's been on our property in the insurance industry, our insurance companies are continuing to file rate increases this year, although even though we didn't even really have a lot of significant hail claims in our own agency, our policyholders are still seeing those rates go up, not because of their own claims, but because there's claims across the city. There's a term in the industry that probably a lot of homeowners are familiar with, but it's called the law of large numbers. And the concept of insurance is very simple in that we all pool into a greater bucket, and when the one or two people need to draw from that bucket, they can, and they can get themselves, made whole again, restored. The purpose of insurance. The problem with hail is that the damage is so widespread that when everybody starts drawing into that bucket, we got to fill that bucket up. And they will ask many, many homeowners from a very large circle to fill that bucket up via higher rate increases.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So another question we often get is, well, my insurance company or my insurance agent told me to go get 3 bids after a storm. And what we tell homeowners is your price is fixed, your price is your deductible. So running around getting 3 estimates really doesn't do you a whole lot of good. Just selecting a contractor that's going to do that you like and feel comfortable with is going to do a good job for you is the most important thing. But how do you guys handle that, or what are you guys seeing on your end?
When I first got started in the industry, we would definitely recommend people getting a couple bids, but that was back in the 90s. Times have changed now, and now an independent claims adjuster or a claims adjuster for the insurance company will actually go out and they'll write a bid to that job and say, give this to your roofer. The insurance companies aren't asking for multiple estimates anymore. They're really trying to dictate the cost of the claim because they've seen so many hail claims. They generally have a pretty good idea of what it's going to cost to get redone.
And a lot of that, it's not coming from the insurance company, it's in people's mind that I have to get 3 bids.
Right.
And an insurance restoration project is completely different from just a regular retail project. So I think that's one of the challenges for homeowners to understand is getting 3 bids really at this day and age doesn't do them any good.
Yeah, it's really not necessary. You find a roofer that's got a good reputation, a roofer that you feel like you can trust, that's good enough.
Another question we get sometimes is, can I make money on the claim? A lot of times homeowners are getting $20,000 checks, $25,000 checks, and the wheels start turning.
Right. The answer is no. You cannot make money on your claim. Really, the way that if a claim was ever over-adjusted, Constantine, to where there was more money paid, the insurance company's expectation really is that that money would be returned to them. It's the proper way to adjust the claim. The other part of that is, well, I need to repaint the side of my house. Can I make overhead and profit? Can I make a profit for painting my own house? The answer is no, believe it or not. You actually have to hire a painter. It's going to cost the insurance company more money, but there are special conditions within the policy that state that the homeowner cannot make a profit on their own claim. So unfortunately, unless you're willing to do the work for free, you're better off just hiring a professional to do it.
And from my understanding, it's built into most premiums that people pay to hire, if a busy individual like yourself, if you were to get hail on your house, you don't have time to coordinate and manage and deal with all the trades. Typically, a homeowner can hire a general contractor to get all the work done so they don't have to mess with it.
Right.
An insurance company would help them with that on their claim.
Right.
Usually.
Right, that's correct. And there is obviously, as you know, there's a bit of a battle with overhead and profit for the general contractor, the roofer facilitating the claim. And there's a bit of a battle that's going on in the insurance industry right now where a lot of the insurance companies don't really want to pay that extra 10% overhead, 10% profit. At the end of the day, at the end of the claim, they almost always end up settling up for that amount of money. But the concept behind that is that the claim is easy enough to facilitate. You're a roofer, re-roof the house. The problem with Colorado is that there's not a lot of roofing contractors out there that employ their own crews. So many roofing companies are forced to hire subcontractors. So in a sense, they're acting like that general contractor and having to facilitate that claim.
What if a homeowner decides not to do all the work on their claim? So say the insurance company's paying for their roof, their windows, their siding. What if they opt out of the siding?
Great question. So what the insurance adjuster is going to do, they're going to go out and take a look at the damages to the home, and they're going to come up with an idea of what they think it's going to cost to make that homeowner whole again. I'm going to use the number of $20,000 just for simple math. The insurance adjuster is going to look at it and say, we have a $20,000 claim on this. They're going to set a reserve. Now, the reserve is something really that only the agent and the claims adjuster is aware of, but we have a good idea of what it's going to cost to get this done. At that point, the insurance company will actually adjust the claim on an actual cash value basis, giving a check just for the ACV, actual cash value amount of the claim. That's typically 60, 70, 80% of the total claim amount. So we'll call it $14,000. So that homeowner gets a check for $14,000. At that point, the insurance company is going to stand by and not do anything. It's that homeowner's responsibility to take that $14,000 and go employ Ethos Roofing, Ethos General Contractors, to get that roof done. The remainder of that claim, the other $6,000, the roofer will generally go back to the insurance company with the help of the homeowner and look to get the final depreciation portion of the claim. The problem that a lot of homeowners run into is that they decide to pocket that $14,000 and not do any of the work. The issue with that is that your insurance company at some point down the road is going to ask you, when did you get the work? Please show us a receipt. And if you can't prove that you did the work, your insurance company is going to non-renew you. They're not going to renew your policy. At that point, you're going to have a hard time getting insurance because every insurance company out there is going to know that you didn't get prior hail damage fixed. The house they're getting ready to insure has hail damage. What's stopping you from turning right around and trying to file another hail claim? So taking the actual cash value claim and not getting your roof done, roof fixed, is a very, very bad decision.
So Mike, thanks for coming in today. You're one of the most, if not the most knowledgeable insurance broker that I've talked with. How can people get a hold of you if they have questions on their policy or looking to switch?
Oh, absolutely. Probably the easiest way to reach me is our website, www.mileins.com. You can also call my office at 303-237-5445. There's plenty of agents standing by to talk to anybody who might have any questions.
Awesome. I really appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching Art of the Claim. Stay tuned for more industry experts and more valuable information on future episodes.